Hello, everyone. This is Jackie Martin with A Matter of Motivation and another episode of Pop Up Positivity. I am so excited today because I get a chance to talk with my good friend, Tammi Bramblett. She's the Executive Director of Leadership Forsyth, and she's just going to share some of her insights. I'm just so happy you're here. Tammi, tell everybody more about you.
Hi, Jackie. Thanks so much for letting me be a part of today. I'm very excited about this because one thing that I love, and that's positivity. Um, Again, as Jackie said, my name's Tammi Bramblett. I have the privilege of being the Executive Director of Leadership Forsyth, and I have done that for 11 years. I have a rich background in nonprofit work. I've worked for United Way of Forsyth County and the American Heart Association. I've worked for YMCA of Metro Birmingham and done several different things in my career, but this is the place that I call home now, and I enjoy so much what I do. I believe in Leadership Forsyth. I believe in Forsyth County. I know that it is the best place to live, work, and play, and so I really am excited to be a part of today. Thank you.
Well, listen, Tammi, automatically I was thinking about you to be able to share. You have been in amidst the leaders, the business owners, the organizations here in this county for so long, and I was just thinking I would love for you to share a little bit about what maybe you've experienced in leadership shifting, changing, anything you've noticed that's happened in over the years that you've experienced getting to know all these amazing leaders.
Leadership Forsyth definitely gives me a wonderful opportunity to meet the best of the best from our high school students, because we have a youth leadership program for high school juniors, and we have an opportunity for seniors to come back and mentor through our adult program and in our alumni. So I have that opportunity to meet people that are native Forsythians, those who have been in the community for just a little bit, and watch them grow and develop. And some have a passion for our community, some are still new and trying to figure it out, and it's just to watch their investment in themselves and in Forsyth County grow is just so tremendous. It's a wonderful opportunity, and I watch individuals collaborate, because I do believe that together we're better. I think that that's a great way that we can promote positive change is by embracing the differences that make each of us unique. And the way that you lead and the way that I lead may look very different, but if we can lead together and use our strengths and balance each other's weaknesses, we'll make a fantastic team. And that's what I get to witness every year and every opportunity through Leadership Forsyth, is watching individuals that otherwise would not have the opportunity to collaborate come together. They partner and they just build an exciting experience for each other. And then even after they graduate the program, they have that network of other leaders that are like-minded in the fact that they want to make our community better and stronger, and they come together and they collaborate to do that. And it's just so encouraging. It's wonderful to see people truly shine, and we're all given a talent in different ways, and how do they really bring that to fruition is just something that is just a wonderful sight to behold.
Yeah. Well, I just to let people know, I had an opportunity, just a real blessing, to go through the program in 2014 and then into 15 and help with on the board and help with Leadership Forsyth Youth. But I don't think I know the story of what is it that's drawn you to nonprofit work in general, and not just Leadership Forsyth, but all that background you have. What drew you to that whole industry?
So my actual educational background is in criminal justice and psychology. I had great plans of going on into the world of law enforcement, and that was where I was, from a very small child. I thought that was what I wanted to do. And I greatly enjoyed all of the classes that I took, and I left, graduated from the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and thought, I'm going to do this. And so my first endeavor into that world was working in loss prevention for a major retailer. I was a corporate investigator for them. And, I really enjoyed the aspects, and I enjoyed the journey that I got to take. And I had some incredible influences that when I was a part of that organization, people who really believed in me, even though I was a very young female in a very male dominated team, and they believed in me. They thought that I could be an asset to their team. And that really encouraged me. During that time that I worked for that retailer, I had the opportunity to be a loaned executive for United Way in Birmingham. And I didn't really know much about United Way. And this is a person that company pays for a certain amount of time to work for United Way and to work on their annual campaign. So I got the opportunity to do that. And I got to meet these individuals there were executives from other major companies that we all came together for 3 months of the summer. We worked together and we were unified in one mission, and that was to raise as much money for our community as we could. And then I got to know United Way. I got to know what it meant to serve, and that servant leadership spoke to my heart. And so I kind of, at that time, thought, wow, this is something I enjoy doing. I don't necessarily enjoy sending people to jail, and there's some negativities to the fact of what I was doing in the corporate world, although it was very meaningful for me as far as it helped build me as a leader and build my confidence as an individual to self-promote and to know that I can make an impact and be an asset to a team. It didn't kind of fill my bucket. I realized that what I needed to do was give back to my community. And that is why law enforcement actually had spoken to me as well, because I thought I was going to make a difference. I thought I was going to help rid the world of some bad. And my dad was a state trooper, and I knew that was something that was needed, but it really wasn't for me. I didn't think that was the way that I wanted to serve my community. And so I had the opportunity then to start working for the YMCA of Birmingham, Metro Birmingham, because they had gotten to know me. And so through those times, I just kind of, nonprofit work has just continued to speak to me. I feel like it's a way to give back to your community in a positive way and to continue doing good for others. And that's what led me to working for United Way of Forsyth County eventually. And then I had the opportunity of being a part of the Leadership Forsyth class of 2006. It was an incredible year for me, being a part of that class, getting to know individuals I wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet outside of that program. And when the executive director at that time decided she was going to retire, I had taken a year off to have my second child, and I knew that I needed to be back in my community. It was time for me to be back. So it was kind of one of those aha moments of, this has opened up. This is something I believe in. I know it can make our community better. I know I could be an asset to the team. And so I applied for the position. And like I said, I've been doing this for 11 years. I love what I do. I tease because one of Leadership Forsyth's colors are blue. We're blue and gold. And so I tease that I bleed blue because I truly believe in what we do at Leadership Forsyth. I believe that, we can continue our mission and be a catalyst for our community to ignite leaders to being an even better version of themselves.
That's amazing. And I love what you say about bleeding blue, because I think when people love what they do, others know it. I mean, you can feel it, and definitely people who are around you can feel it. So let me ask you this. What do you think one of the, I don't know, either the upside or a challenge with leading leaders?
It's definitely challenging because like I said, I think we're all leaders. We just lead in different ways. But sometimes some of us have sometimes our personalities are such strong personalities that we aren't as open to listening to others' points of view. So I think that helping leaders listen, be very active listeners when they're usually quick starters. They're ready to get the ball in motion when sometimes they haven't invested enough in their team to hear the details that would make it a better and probably more efficient success. So sometimes that's a challenge, I think, is just making sure that people to push that pause button, Let's really hear what our team are saying so that we can make the best informed decision to help us move forward towards success. I think everybody has the best of intentions. I think everybody is ready to make the most of whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish. But that active listening role to me, and also knowing when to lead and when to follow. I think followership is sometimes seen as a negative thing. And I think as leaders, knowing what is someone else's strength is a very important thing. And to being okay with letting somebody else take the lead for a little bit, there's some great value in that, and letting those other folks rise to their potential and shine. And so I think those would probably be my two biggest challenges.
Yeah, I was just thinking in terms of everybody recognizing their own strengths so that they can let people shine in their own area of expertise. And so you use the word collaboration a couple of times in your sort of explanation of it all. How have you seen that bubbling to the top with respect to Leadership Forsyth?
One of the greatest ways is with Leadership Forsyth, we have a class project. So we encourage each class to leave a legacy, a meaningful legacy in our community. And how they choose to do that looks different every year. Some have chosen to do things at our parks, and others have chosen to do things with the school system or our senior center, and probably everything in between. And one of the things that's typically a challenge is we have 35 to 40 individuals that are strong leaders. They are very, they're very successful in what they do. They're used to having that role and leading, and maybe not also having a strong yin to their yang when it comes to working on teams. So how do they all respect each other's ideas and respect each other's structure to project management? So I think that that's one of the greatest ways that our groups collaborate in making those projects happen every year. And sometimes, it could be really easy as the executive director, and having gone through technically 12 projects, including my own, with a class to kind of interfere and say, hey, you guys, you're going down the wrong path. You got to redirect, but it's part of the leadership process for them. So I have to say, let's let them work through it. Let's let them collaborate. Let them find the things that work. And when I first started this position, one of the board chairman at the time, one of the things that he said to me so many times my first year, and that was Sean Lovejoy. One of the things that he told me so many times was, sometimes you have to let them fail. And I don't know that I always was bought into like letting them fail, but letting them stumble or letting them kind of trip over themselves sometimes is an okay thing, because it's how we rise, how we get back up, what we do to overcome that is a great leadership lesson. And so I think that was kind of what Sean always intended and what he was saying. But those words speak to me all of the time, and I think about him saying that so much. And in the youth program, these students get the opportunity to come together that would never have that opportunity, because we pull students from all of our areas, high schools, and even homeschool students. They wouldn't have that opportunity to meet, get out of their social circles and their protective bubbles if it weren't for this program. So they come together and they share wonderful, intentional ideas and conversations, and they're very transparent. They're very open to speaking to each other and collaborating with their ideas on supporting each other through some whatever they're going through. Because we, like I said earlier, it's high school juniors and seniors, so they're at a very pivotal time in their careers where they are making some big decisions. And sometimes we just need sounding boards for that. So if those students can work together to help collaborate with each other, that's just tremendous. So I think that's a wonderful way that we see collaboration. We've seen students become, college roommates because they hadn't met it, but through our program, they got to meet each other, and they are lifelong friends now. So it's wonderful to see those students really rise to the occasion and work together and embrace their differences.
I love that you brought up the students too, because I think even that lesson you just said about failure that Sean Lovejoy had talked about, and that it's people need to learn how to do that well, especially the students, don't you think? I mean, I think that's an area that maybe we don't, as parents, let them exercise as much as we could.
I absolutely agree. I think that I think we I think one of the things that I observe a lot in society or generational, I'm not really sure where it falls, is a drive of competition. Where I speak for, you know, when I speak generationally, I think my generation is an incredibly competitive group. I think overall, I know I'm kind of stereotyping, I don't mean to be, but I think that competition and that competitive drive has gone into, like, we feed it into our children. And so when we see them on like a course of maybe failure or not meeting the potential that we think they have, we want to step in and intervene. And it's so important that although we're there for their to be their cheerleader, and we're there and we're always in their corner, there's so many wonderful life lessons to maybe not always being number one. And it's a really hard thing for us to let go. I know, you know, recently the Michael Jordan had his documentary that just came out, The Last Dance. It was incredibly well done. And one of the things that he talks about is not making his 10th grade varsity basketball team. And what did his mom do? She said, for that summer, you go out and you work hard. You work hard. You overcome that. She didn't intervene by, you know, calling the coach or the athletic director, or at least in the documentary, they said she didn't do it. So, and I think that there's just some really great wisdom there. Whether you like him or not, he is one of the greatest basketball players of all time. And he didn't let that stop him. Imagine if he would have let that failure, I mean, I'm air quoting the word failure, stop him. I mean, look at that potential and look at what he learned from that. I mean, there's probably not anyone with more of a competitive drive than that man, at least the way it comes across. So right. I think that there's so much to learn from failure. It's hard. I don't like it. I don't like when I feel like I didn't meet the potential that I had to accomplish something, or I don't like, sometimes we also try to do things that are not in our skill set. And so being self-aware, knowing, you know what, I tried that. It really stinks that I did so poorly in it, but I think there's a lot for me to learn from that too. Like sometimes we force things that we're not meant to do.
Right.
So there's a great plan for us out there. You know, if we just, again, self-awareness and just kind of hit that pause button and evaluate why am I trying to do this? What is my end goal? And, I just think that there's great lessons for all of us through failure, if you want to call
Tammi,
it that.
were you when you were growing up, were you a leader in your roles as, in middle school, high school, and even into college?
Definitely probably not in college. I worked full time while I was in college, and so I was really focused on trying to make the best grades I could while balancing working full time. I was very active though in middle school, high school. I was in every club I could be in, and I found my ways to lead. I like to say that I'm a creative leader. I like to think of all of the different ways that we could problem solve something. So I don't always look at the way that is the easy path. I also knew the value. My parents taught me the value in making sure that you had a great support system and your friends, and choosing those wisely. And of course, like every other teenager, probably had some friends that maybe could have led me down a different path, but at the same time there was great things that I learned from them. They added a lot to my experience through high school. And so as far as always being the president of my student government or the president of my FBLA, I wasn't necessarily that, but I was always on those teams, and I was always trying to find a way to get involved and stay involved.
Mm.
And my best friend growing up, she and her parents taught me a great value in serving your community and volunteering. Her mom was a stay-at-home mom, but she volunteered all of the time, and she gave, to their soup kitchens, and she was, always working on mission trips, and she really kind of gave me a sense of purpose in volunteering and giving of your time. And that led me to wanting to make sure that I stayed involved in my school and in my community. And I think that ultimately had a great influence on working for nonprofits for my career.
I love that. So I always ask everyone, this is called pop-up positivity. And it sounds like so much of what you've been doing throughout your career has been on a foundation of staying positive. So give me one sort of way that we've been in some challenging times right now. How are you staying positive?
You know what? I find that one of the ways that I'm staying positive, I love yoga. So I do a lot of yoga to just have, because I am a very, very active person. Some might even tend to call me hyper. So I try to spend some time to just kind of refocus and take some time out and doing yoga and practicing that time for me. I also have been staying connected with friends and family, and just trying to find those ways during this time, because I'm a very much people person. So this has been a challenge when we aren't connected as we, face to face as we typically are. But I'm also finding, though, that it's opening doors that I wouldn't have had open before. I'm communicating with people that are in my position with leadership programs all over the country. And they are inspiring me to do more, or challenging me to think outside of the box and solve the problems in ways that I may not have had the opportunity to think in that perspective before, because I probably wouldn't have ever connected with someone from Leadership Rhode Island had it not been for this time that we're in right now. And so it's really wonderful that we are finding these ways to connect and stay connected virtually. And I've also had the opportunity to kind of read a little more and take some time out to do something that I truly enjoy, and not just reading, not fiction, but also picking up some books that I've kind of put aside because I didn't have time to. And so just finding different ways to stay positive. I'm a big believer in positivity. I think that it's very important for us all to stay positive during this time and finding what works for us.
Love that. Love that. And I've been asking, I'm going to ask you too, everybody that I've been talking to about what a friend of mine would always ask me whenever there was a challenge, or I might be doubting something. And I know you can't read this on this stone, but necessary because it's backwards, but it says, what if it's better? I mean, what if whatever's happening or can happen or will happen is better? So when you hear that phrase or that question, it's sort of a philosophy, I guess. What comes to mind for you?
Possibility. That is the first word that comes to mind when you ask me that question. And I think that that's what is before all of us each and every day. What if tomorrow is better than today? What if the next hour you have the opportunity of being even a better you, because you have a friend that picks up the phone and calls or sends you a text, and this is your opportunity to kind of support them through it. Or maybe you're needing something and you make that right call to get someone to help you through something or to fill your bucket in this time. I think that we're given the opportunity each day that we're blessed to wake up to make things even better. So I agree with that. What if it's better? Wow, that's awesome. And if it's not, then how are you going to make it better? Because that's really up to you.
Oh, what a great way to wrap our conversation up, because I love that it's up to you. And I think that's a great way to look at things, because even when things get challenging, there is something you can do. And if you can't control the circumstances, you can certainly control your reaction. So Tammi, tell me how if people could get a hold of you. I know you're working currently on building up the adult class for next year. Is there any good way for them to reach you if people are interested or want to know more about Leadership Forsyth?
Oh, absolutely. You can, we have a website, so it's leadershipforsyth.org. You can email me, Tammi@leadershipforsyth.org, or, reach out to me on social media, whatever works for you. I would love to communicate and share more about our programs and the things that we offer our community. And that would be great. I would love that.
Well, Tammi, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. It's always wonderful to talk to you, and you are a ray of sunshine. Thank you so much.
Well, keep up the great work here in our community. We just value you so much. Thank you so much for watching again. Again, it's Jackie Martin with A Matter of Motivation and Pop-Up Positivity. Make it a positive day. Take care.